Well, January, we were off to a very rough start, not just in California, but really across the entire U.S. as we had a pretty active weather pattern going on. Though where we did have the wildfires, we're forecasting a little bit more rain coming up.
That's true. A big change there. And of course, we've gotten rid of the cold in the south, which means the change of that is the warmth rushing its way on in.
Let's start you off with a look at satellite and radar. Get you familiar of what's happening with the weather today.
Very active track here across the northern tier of the nation where we do have rain working its way into California. You can see some of the energy here sweeping its way on through. Around the Great Lakes, there is snow. That's going to be a snow track for New England to pick up snow and upstate New York as they get a few inches from this.
Meanwhile, to the south, you don't really see a lot going on. It is beautiful. The sunshine shining bright. Some would even say Houston, the best weather for today.
Meanwhile, to the north again, that cool air is found. By the way, this contrast will set up the train tracks essentially for storm systems. Now we have quiet conditions on the I-95 corridor where the recovery of both of those crashes is ongoing, and it'll stay that way throughout the day. What we're watching across the northern tier of the nation is this snow working its way across the Great Lakes. Some heavy snow into places like Michigan at this point in time. It is a fast-moving storm system. It's pretty much leaving Wisconsin at this point, and upper Michigan, you're still getting the snow. Those spots could pick up more than 3 inches. We saw 7, 8 around Duluth, Minnesota, so we definitely know the snow has come down in spots. Today, we get that snow later on through the afternoon in a place like Buffalo. Temperatures there in the lower 30s. This is what it looks like through time. Lunchtime, it's moving out of Detroit, moving into Buffalo, and continues to slide its way east. I-80 on northward. This will continue as we go through tonight. And like I said, tomorrow morning, the morning commute, it clears out pretty quickly. So for those areas like Boston, you will need to shovel it. However, once we see this storm move out, there will be another one on its heels, and you can already identify that in Detroit. Tomorrow, we have rain showers. This is well, if you're traveling across the nation on this Groundhog Day, you will encounter some slowdowns across the northwest. Levels of most significant planet warming gas in our atmosphere rose more than ever before in 2020. Across the south, we have been seeing quite a change in our weather pattern, and now we're warming things up yet again. Take a look at the numbers here. Dallas headed to 77 for that high, 70s for a little while for us. Monday, more of the same on tap. It's going to feel like spring out there, especially since we were so cold through parts of January. Some areas obviously recalling the snow in the south. Jackson coming into 77 degrees, 75. That's always the toughest part about stargazing in winter, right? Bundling up for the cold. We've got more of that February cold this week across the northern tier of the nation. Well, the southern U.S. will be warming up quite a bit, which means trouble in between. In fact, that jet stream will allow for any energy to become a storm system here that has the boundary of snow, rain, and even some icing threat. And I'll also point out there will be a risk for severe weather, too, just south of where that icing threat is. So we'll watch that across some of the Ohio Valley and the Mississippi Valley. Des Moines, Iowa, though, it's about that icing threat as we head through Wednesday.
Thanks for sticking with us here on AccuWeather Weekend. For many, January was a long, cold, and snowy month. We're trying to figure out what these next few months are going to look like. Well, starting February, we have some record-challenging warmth here across parts of the west and the south central states. This goes Monday into Tuesday. We're running about 15 to 25 degrees above our historical averages. So the warmth is here. You'll be feeling it, though we are talking about significant mountain snow melt, which could cause some problems, especially when it comes to flooding and that avalanche risk as well. We've been battling that risk here over the past few days. So heads up, while it may be beautiful outside, definitely check those conditions stretch all the way from West Texas, even Central Texas. Look at Austin. We're at 82. So up and down that I-35 corridor, we're close to our records. 81, that was first set back in 1911 and again in 2008. Lubbock, we're on tap to shatter that old record. We are forecasting highs flirting with 90 degrees for our Monday. That is a warm February day. 80 here is the old record in 1934, and that extends even further west. Albuquerque, even parts of Colorado are going to be seeing highs into the 60s. Now for Tuesday, rinse and repeat, especially in areas across our south central states. But this does even extend through parts of the central Gulf Coast states and through the southeast, where you're going to be seeing highs ranging anywhere from the 70s to the 80s. College Station, 81. I'm sure students on campus won't mind that. We're close to that 82 record set back in 1957. Houston, on the other hand, you're at 79, and we're close. Barely there, but flirting with 80. Tyler, you're at 78. Columbus, Georgia at 78. We could very well tie that record as well. And Greenwood, Mississippi at 75. Now that rain does return Tuesday night through Wednesday across Southern California. We do like to see the moisture as we're tapping into this moisture plume coming off of the Pacific. That's certainly going to help things when it comes to how dry it has been. We really do like to see the rain in Southern California, especially after our January devastating wildfires. It's ground